provide their name and address, and they will be given 6 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for a rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any comments being made on the application. Once commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed for the opportunity for cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any comment that is repetitive or is an attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is irrelevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once the public portion is closed, all public comment is ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following the summation, the case will go to the board for a decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to the procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. The municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act. It is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustment, variances are granted when appropriately necessary following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we are. If we are in session around 10:30 p.m., I don't see that happening tonight, but please don't try and prove me wrong. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting of anyone while they are speaking. That being said, Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case Z21-2023, Jada House LLC, 91 Livingston Ave. Use variance sought to construct a new single-family home. The following standards have not been met. FAR required is 0.25, proposed is 0.306. Affected property is located in the RA zone, designated as block number 546.22, lot 5, on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chair. Is this on? Can everybody hear me all right?
Raj, is that on?
All right, I'll speak loudly. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Benjamin Wine of Prime and Tuvel on behalf of the applicant, Jada House LLC. I will do my best not to keep you here until 10 o'clock this evening, but nevertheless, I will certainly go through my case in its entirety and ultimately, hopefully, walk away this evening with an approval. We're here for the property in question located at 91 Livingston Avenue. That's block 546.22, lot 5. And we're here seeking a D4 floor area ratio variance. As you will hopefully see from our presentation this evening, as well as on the plans before you, all of the other bulk requirements are complied with respect to our proposal. What we are proposing is a single family residence on what is an undersized lot per your zoning requirements. Specifically, 20,000 square feet is the required minimum lot size for the zone, and we have a lot here with 15,717 square feet, so just over 75% of the requirement. As you will see again, the residence that we're proposing to construct, as I mentioned, complies with all of the bulk requirements and is in fact beneath what would be a conforming floor area ratio were the lot to be conforming itself. We'll seek to prove to you this evening that the floor area ratio variance can be justified pursuant to the Randolph Town Center case, which notes that the site itself can accommodate potential problems associated with the additional floor area ratio. So with me this evening, I do not intend to prolong this matter, but I do have 3 witnesses with me this evening that I'd like to present. Our first will be our project engineer, Dipali Patel. Our second will be our project architect, Nihal Javeri. And finally, summing up, we have our project planner, Matthew Flynn. So unless there's any questions of me, Mr. Chair, and members of the board, I'd like to proceed with my first witness.
Does the board have any questions for the attorney? Seeing none, you may proceed, counsel.
Thank you very much. So my first witness will be Dipali Patel, our engineer. Would you like her to sit beside me? Or
if she is, are the plans?
Those are the, yeah.
So the plans. So what you can do is first you can go to the table and be sworn, and then you can then take the microphone and head over to the easel to present.
Ms. Patel, would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And if you could just, you have to speak into the microphone. Is it spelled D-I-P-A-L-I, your name?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And if you could just give your brief summary of your qualifications.
Yeah, I'm an NJP, a professional engineer. I have a professional engineer license in New Jersey. And my name is Dipali Patel. I'm the site engineer for 91 Livingston Avenue.
And Ms. Patel, have you been, just for the board, have you been accepted as an expert in the field of professional engineering previously?
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps if the chair would like to hear any additional qualifications.
No, and your licenses are current and in good standing?
Yes.
Okay, we'll accept your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Ms. Patel, as you walk over there towards your plans, if you can just give the board the benefit of what it is that you're proposing here this evening for the subject property.
So good evening, everyone. So this is a property plan for 91 Livingston Avenue. We are meeting all the front, back, and side yard requirements, also the height requirements, and the percentage lot coverage. So the thing is, the stormwater, the drainage, we are maintaining existing drainage pattern. There is no change in existing drainage pattern. We are also proposing a seepage pit, which will control the stormwater runoff, and that will not increase any runoff due to the increased size of the property. And also, we are making landscaping improvements. We are removing one tree, and we are replanting 16 more trees, new trees, on the plot. And I think that's what the site improvements are for this property.
Sure. So, Ms. Patel, I know I'm happy for you to keep it brief, but very specifically, I just want you to confirm that what we're ultimately proposing here is a single-family house. As you mentioned, it does in fact conform with all the bulk requirements with the exception of floor area ratio.
Yes.
And if you can please confirm for the board what the floor area ratio variance is that we're seeking.
We are seeking the allowed floor area ratio is a 0.2513. We are seeking 0.3065% of floor area ratio for this property.
So just to confirm, that's approximately 0.05
increase in the floor area ratio, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Mr. Chair, members of the board, that's really all I wanted to elicit from Ms. Patel.
Okay.
Just one second, just to clarify the record, when you're referencing the exhibit that's on the easel, it's the same one that's the site plan that was submitted with the application?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Patel? I have a question, and I'm gonna, Mr. Ayotte, she had proposed in her testimony that there was going to be a seepage pit on the property. Correct me if I'm wrong. The township did amend the seepage pit requirement.
That's correct. If there's
Put your
no
microphone down. Put your microphone down.
That's correct. If there's no change in the grade, no seepage pit is required, engineering approval. But if you're going to raise the grade, you will need engineering approval, SIP and block rating plan, site improvement permit, and a block rating plan.
Okay.
Does the board have any questions?
Will they be raising the grading?
No, grading is the same, but we are increasing the total impervious area. That's why we are proposing a seepage pit to control the runoff from the property.
So in other words, yeah, so whether or not it's ultimately required because you're not changing the gate, we are proposing it as an improvement to the site nevertheless. Is that correct?
Right,
So you would
right.
be okay complying with the board engineer's comments and concerns?
They can certainly put one in.
Yeah.
They'd have to comply with all the engineering requirements for
Sure.
the township.
And we take no exception to that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So
you.
my next witness is Nihal Javeri, our project architect, who's going to walk you through the floor plans, elevations, and I believe he has a rendering that was not previously submitted, so that will likely need to be marked.
Do you have any smaller versions of that rendering?
Nihal, did you bring any?
I don't have.
You need it on the microphone. I'm sorry.
He needs, wait, before he
Okay.
even says
Yeah,
anything,
sure.
because I still need to swear him in. Okay, if you don't have them this evening, you're going to have to submit them, if you can, by the end of the week to the board secretary.
No problem.
So that we have it for our records, because obviously the board is harder to hold and to keep.
Certainly.
Our records, okay?
Okay.
I don't know, we're gonna find out. Okay, Mr. Javeri, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And if you could spell your last name, is it Jhaveri?
That is correct.
Okay, and it's Nihal, Nihal?
No, it's Nehal, Nehal. Thank you.
That's why I asked, thank you.
All right, so Mr. Javeri,
Wait,
similar
hang on
to...
one second. Yes.
I was going to ask the
Go
qualifier.
ahead, counsel. You're getting paid. I'm not.
Sure, fair enough. So, Mr. Javeri, similar to what we just did with Ms. Patel, if you can please give the board the benefit of your professional credentials, education, and the status of your license as an architect in the state of New Jersey.
Sure. My name is Nehal Zaveri. I'm principal at NJ Architecture, based out of Moorestown, New Jersey. That is South Moorestown, New Jersey. And I've been licensed in state of New Jersey and few other states since 2009. I've been practicing in New Jersey since 2009. My license is in good standing right now. I have bachelor's degree in architecture and master's in urban design.
So, Mr. Chair, I would put forth Mr. Javeri as an expert in the field of architecture.
And we'll accept his confession.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Javeri, as you walk over there, again, if you're going to refer to any plans that have been submitted, please indicate as such, and any plans that are new or exhibits, please let us know so that we can have those marked.
Certainly. The exhibit here is called Sheet A1. It's floor plans. We have a cellar floor plan and the first floor plan.
And Mr. Javeri, just confirm that the series of plans, I believe there's 3 sheets of the architectural plans, those were previously submitted to the board?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, go right ahead.
Okay. So here we have a dream house for the family of 7. It's not only aesthetically pleasing, but also one that is sensitive to the surroundings with its placement and the scale. It's about 4,700 square feet and has 3 levels. One is cellar, while the other is first floor and the second floor. The cellar houses general amenities like playroom and media room. And it has, from the playroom, we have access to the backyard directly, again, citing more or less a safety issue for the kids, and additional safety that we are providing. The first floor, and it doesn't have any kitchen or bedrooms. So cellar is just cellar in that case. The first floor houses, again, your usual spaces, just like family room, kitchen, dining, living room, and 2 bedrooms, one for parents and one for guests. Again, this is a family of 7 we have. The second floor has 3 children's bedrooms. I'm going to go to the next exhibit, if that's okay. This is sheet A2, second floor plan. The second floor has 3 bedrooms for the 3 children they have, and the master suite. That's the only thing we have on the second floor. What we also have is terrace. Now, the employment of terrace serves a couple of purposes. One is to try and keep the total square footage lesser than otherwise we would go with if I were to make a box, just like most other houses. And second, also, visual impact from outside. So to bring back the wall and creating a terrace also creates that drama that you can see from outside. I'm going to present the third exhibit so you could see that. This is sheet number A3, building elevations. We have all 4 side building elevations here. To your left is the front elevation. Number 2 is the right side. Number 3 is rear. And number 4 is the left side. The front elevation, as you can see, again, it's not your standard box that you would probably see with most of the builder houses. What we try to keep is a couple of things. We have interplay of the masses from in and out. It's not just one plain box again. We also have low roof lines. So with that low roof line also, we won't be impacting a lot on the surroundings. This is again grounded, that's what we call it. About 28 feet is the height of the building, the way they calculate according to the zoning ordinances. So again, we are way below what's allowed, about 40 feet, I suppose, yep. Right? We simply have just 2 materials. We have EIFS, what they call stucco also, second name, and we also have wood look sidings that are basically composite sidings. That's what we call it. The purpose of the house, sorry, you had a question? Okay. The purpose of keeping it clean was something that we wanted to impose on the house, that keeping it clean, keeping it simple, not too complicated, and making it more modern. That is what the owners also were wishing for. Hopefully, with this, we can enhance already the street that we have, the side around it. If I go to, please. Yeah. Would you like me to bring this closer?
Yeah, just to be clear for the board, this is the one exhibit that we would ask that it be marked as it was not previously submitted.
Okay, so we will mark this one as A1 for tonight.
Okay. And Mr. Javeri, if you can just describe what A1 is.
Sure. A1 has two exterior renderings. One is to the front, the second is the back. These are colored renderings. Again, you can see from the 3D renderings that we have here, the roof lines. This is when you're standing on the street, this is what you see. It's not imposing on the side. It is somewhat of a modern house that we wanted to try. But at the same time, we did not want to overwhelm the neighborhood or the site altogether. So trying to keep it low as much as possible. Only two elements that you can see is this white color that you have is ephes, stucco. And we have wood look sidings that could be composite sidings. Again, these are the two things that we have. You also have the interplay that you can clearly probably see in here of the masses of going in and out. The second floor, again, the balcony is recessed. It provides us with a setback, with a relief from the entire front, as well as the front vestibule that is also recessed. In the back, what you see is we have same thing, same materials sort of carried forward in the back. And we created a small yard by placing a house more in L shape, where we can have somewhat of privacy also at the same time. That's the area that children can pay and use more securely. That's all I have.
Sure. So my last question for you, Mr. Javeri, is it fair to say that you designed this house in a way that that interior habitable living space and exterior open space really interplay well with each other?
Certainly, yeah, that's the goal.
All right. So, Mr. Chair and members of the board, I have nothing further for Mr. Javeri at this point.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Javeri? Yes, Mr. Chair. Okay. Wait, hang on, Mr. Javeri. Mr. Chabra chimed in first. I'm a good viewer of Family Feud. He chimed in first. You're next.
I have a question for the architect. So how many bathrooms are it's in the whole house?
We have 7.5.
7.5? Okay.
Right.
So, okay, I'm counting 8. It's two half bathrooms and 6 full, or?
No, that's 7 full and 1 half bathroom. So each bedroom has 1.
Okay.
And then you have 1 in the basement.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's one of my questions.
Okay, so 7 full and 1, 7 full and 1 half.
1 half.
Okay. Okay, and then second question is, so it looks like the garage is tucked in the basement, correct?
Right.
So is that the current design of the house? Is that the current grading of the property at the moment?
No, currently it's a little higher. So what we did is we brought it down again so that it's not too much of a slope, so we can bring it down. So we try to use the grading as much as possible and bring down the garage. That's why we also have an elevator. They can bring the stuff upstairs from there.
Okay, and does that little area of tucking that garage in impose any watershed issues that you would foresee?
No, because that specifically we have kept in mind and designed accordingly on site plan. So we do have a trench drain at the bottom, and then that would be going into the stormwater.
Okay, and based off of a visual look, is the neighbor's house below that gradation or higher? Below the tucked driveway?
No, so neighboring houses are almost at the first floor level, more or less. So this is the portion of driveway, which is about 24 feet or so. That's what is going to be the lower than the
Okay.
grade. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chhabra. Mr. Dave.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. The back of the house, in the center, there's a deck there, right?
That is correct. That's
And
outdoor deck, upstairs and
And the
downstairs.
deck is a covered deck, correct?
It is covered deck, right?
And it is three side covered, one side open.
Yes.
There's no utility or anything there. It's not heated space or cool space, right?
No. It's just deck. There's, just the decking material. There's nothing, no basement underneath or just deck.
And it's not been, you have not included that into the FAR.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dave. Would have any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
in the basement, you have this large room, 33 by 20. What's that going to be used for? In the upper right-hand corner?
Right. That's actually their media room. So kids, they can watch movies. They can just stay around here in the basement.
So there's no bedrooms in the basement?
No basement. No bedrooms. Absolutely. And no kitchen either. So we, technically speaking, again, just going a little bit further, technically speaking, if you were to have a bedroom, you need certain size of egress windows, and we don't have any size anywhere we can put that size window also, and we don't have window wells or anything along that line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Touching upon the Vice Chairman's question, so I see in the basement level, there is a restroom next to the elevator. Is that's a half bath?
No, actually, Mr. Chairman, that is a full bath. Now, the idea was, again, that kids come in from, games, things along that line. They're going to be in garage, entering from that side. So it
Okay,
was
I
actually
missed-
mom's requirement.
Yeah, no, I as the parent of two kids, I get that one. You know what it is? I got confused because I saw the X for the elevator.
Yeah.
And then I mixed the X for the shower pan there. Okay.
Sorry
All right,
about
thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
Does the board have any other questions for Mr. Javeri? Okay, seeing none.
All right, so with that,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my last witness is Matthew Flynn, our professional planner, who's going to speak to the single variance associated with our application. Oh, you're going to need the, there you go. Thank you.
Good evening.
Mr. Flynn, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your full name for the record and just spell your last, if you would.
Sure. Matthew Flynn, Flynn. Business address is 101 Gibraltar Drive in Morris Plains, New Jersey. I have my professional planner's license in the state of New Jersey, as well as my national licensure for planners, which is the AICP license. Both are in good standing, and I've testified before about 100 boards, zoning planning boards across the state. I believe this is my first time here.
Well, welcome. How long have you been practicing?
About 4 years.
Okay. All right. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So we'll accept your credentials.
Thank you. All right, so Matt, you heard the testimony of the engineer, of the architect. You know what the variance is. If you can please give the board your testimony with respect to the relief sought.
Sure. So as the board heard, we are requesting one single variance. It is a D variance. It's that D4 FAR variance. The FAR we're proposing this evening is 0.3065, whereas 0.25 is what is allowed. As council mentioned at the outset, the essence of the test is whether the site can accommodate any problems associated with that additional FAR, which comes from that Randolph Town Center case. In this case, when we look at whether the site can accommodate any problems, we look at setbacks, we look at coverage, height, etc. Here, we have a building that's proposed that does not violate any other bulk requirements. So I think that speaks to the provision of light and air. It speaks to compatibility with zoning, certainly. And based on my analysis, I think the proposed dwelling also has compatibility with the surrounding area. I did look at some surrounding homes, and I do believe that the proposed dwelling is in keeping with the context of the neighborhood. So having said that, just to run the board through the positive criteria, This is the RA zone where single family is a permitted use. So one positive, obviously, is that this application does provide a permitted use in the zone. It promotes the planning goal for providing a variety of housing options to meet the needs of all NJ residents. Clearly, I think our applicant is not the only person who has these types of housing needs. So years down the road, when maybe this applicant moves out, this is going to provide a similar situation for others who need this type of housing. We just saw the architect's rendering. This is a beautiful new building that will improve the value and quality of the area as a whole. As I stated, compatibility, the zoning anticipates a minimum of a 5,000 gross square feet home. And how I came up with that was that 0.25 FAR on a minimum lot area of 20,000 square feet comes out to 5,000 square feet. We are, in fact, under that at about 4,700 square feet. I think I'll probably mention here that we are looking at an undersized lot, which I think is at the crux of that FAR variance, but I'll get to that in a moment. Another positive, we are introducing a substantial amount of new trees. I would say all of the above promote purposes of the municipal land use law, including Purpose A, promotion of the general welfare, Purpose G, variety of uses in appropriate locations, Purpose I, desirable visual environment, and Purpose M, efficient use of land. So the flip side to that is the negative criteria, and I think that's really the heart of that D4 FAR variance, whether the site can accommodate the additional FAR. In this case, I do think that there will be no substantial detriment to the public or to the zone plan. Some reasons that I believe the site can accommodate the proposed FAR. Again, no additional bulk requirements are being violated, setbacks, height, coverage, etc. All of that is in compliance with zoning. And I believe that speaks to the fact that the house fits well on the property and it won't stand out. Again, those setbacks, I think, account for adequate spacing between buildings and properties. To the extent that the FAR requirement is intended to provide a home that's proportional to the lot that it's on, which is what I would call development intensity. Again, we are looking at an undersized lot. And we are looking at a building proposed this evening that is smaller than that minimum, I'll say, anticipated dwelling size of 5,000 square feet. So I think that basically the design that we're proposing here is responsive to that undersized lot. Also, height, we're only proposing 28 feet, whereas up to 40 feet is permitted in the zone. And we heard from our engineer that there will be no substantial negative impacts to stormwater. We do have compliant coverage. And I think something that I'd like to throw out there is that, again, I think I mentioned it a few times, we are compliant with setbacks, coverage, et cetera. I think when we have this additional layer of FAR, I think that may be more useful when we're talking about conforming sized lots or even oversized lots, where I think maybe the intent might be to limit the development of what I'll say McMansions or very large homes that might be out of context with the neighborhood. Clearly, that's not an issue on an undersized lot. We only have the amount of space that we have. And I think that we're using that space very efficiently and proposing something that's very appropriate. So all said, I think that FAR variance is a very reasonable ask by our client, and I think approval is warranted. So with that, I'll open myself up to questions.
Thank you, Matt. So I have no further questions for Mr. Flynn at this point.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Flynn? I have a question. Did you do any analysis of other homes in the neighborhood with any other undersized lot in comparison of size homes that are a similar FAR, similar home size?
I did. So based on the data that I have available to me, I was able to look at lot size pretty accurately, and I'll say the vast majority of homes in the area, or the vast majority of lots in the area, are also undersized and are actually compatible with the lot in question tonight. And based on observation, and I say that loosely, I did do some measurements, but it's not exact measurements. The homes that I did see were similar to the home that's being proposed this evening. So intuitively, I would say the FAR would be comparable, seeing that those lot sizes are comparable as well.
Can you give me a little more meat on the bone, some numbers rather than estimates?
Sure. So basically, I looked within about a quarter mile of the property, and like I said, a vast majority of those lots were also undersized. And I would say, on average, the average building footprint that I noticed was approximately 3,000 square feet. I didn't do an analysis of every single home, how high each one was, but several of them were two stories high. So with that, that 3,000 would conceivably be doubled up to 6,000. But again, that's just an observation, but I think it goes to the point that it's comparable. It won't stand out as the largest home in the area.
I'm going to ask again because I need a little more facts and figures. I need to know within, 1,000 feet there are 12 homes. I need you to give me some more evidence here.
Sure. If you could bear with me for just a little.
Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll just let me know if this is enough information here. Based on the block that this property is on, I'm counting 14 properties, and I'll just rattle off the lot areas that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing 14,700 square feet, 15,300 square feet, 15,100 square feet, 15,400 square feet, 16,600 square feet, 16,000 square feet, 16,500 square feet, 16,300 square feet, 14,400 square feet, 14,500 square feet, 14,500 square feet, 15,000 square feet, 15,100 square feet, 14,700 square feet. And our property is
15,717.
Is 15,100 square feet approximately.
717.
Right. So 15,117 square.
I'm sorry, 117.
15,117 square feet, which is, like I said, I would say comparable to what I just listed out, the other lot areas on this block. And like I said, that's pretty accurate information that I have available to me to get the building footprints. That's, I'll say, not as accurate, but I can give my best judgment here. So I'm seeing a home that is approximately 3,600 square feet building footprint. I'm seeing a home here that is approximately 2,300 square feet in building footprint. I'm seeing a home that is approximately 2,800 square feet in building footprint. I'm seeing a home that is approximately 3,000 square feet in building footprint. I'm seeing a home that is approximately 3,500 square feet in building footprint. I'm seeing another home that is approximately 4,000 square feet building footprint. I'm seeing a home that's 3,000 square feet in building footprint. Just on the spot right now, I don't know if that would suffice.
So that will, and just remind me, what's the building footprint for the proposed for your application?
Might have to double check that with the architect.
Yeah, so but while you do that, I'll just say that the variance is not necessarily for building footprint, it's for FAR.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
All right, so I just confirmed it's about 2750 is the footprint of our proposed building.
And like I said, just for the record, a lot of those homes and the building footprints that I just went through, many of them do have a second story. So presumably, I would say that the FARs are comparable.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, if you did obviously look for something a little bit more, specific, that's something that we could certainly provide at a later time and would have to come back to do that.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any other questions for Mr. Flynn? Mr. Sadada.
I have listed here lot size 15,717 square feet. You saying 117?
15,717.
I believe you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other?
Mr. Chairman?
Wait, Mr. Chava was first.
Yes, I have a question. So in comparison to the comps that you had pulled up on your computer, what is the average bedroom and bathroom ratio that you're seeing on the tax record? I'm seeing that there's 6 bedrooms, 8 baths proposed for this one, so I'd like to see a comparison. What's nearby?
I don't know if that information would be available, actually. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But I will say that I would say the more relevant exercise, I think, when we're talking about FAR would be the mass and scale from a massing standpoint, and how this would look visually from the outside as opposed to on the inside, how it compares to some of the surrounding buildings, to the pedestrian on the street. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chava. Vice Chairman O'Gorman.
Yes, to expand on that, in reference to the comparables, the houses you mentioned on Livingston Avenue, is that all on the same side as the proposed structure, or is anything across the street?
Just to be clear, those 15 properties that I looked at just now were on this block. So just bear with me for 1 second. 7 of those had frontage on Livingston, and 6 were on the behind us, so had frontage on Westover Way.
What about across the street?
In my analysis just now, I did not look at those. Just for the sake of brevity, I just looked at the block.
Okay. And what the square footage for the proposed structure was going to be how much? How many square feet?
Yeah, 4720.
4720. 4,720. Thank you.
That's gross, and the numbers I gave were building footprint. So the 47 takes into account every level on the building.
Right. So those 3,000, 2,800 numbers that you gave were just first floor. And just to be clear, the first floor, as we've said here, is 2,750.
And just to be even clearer, just for the record, basically what that means is if I saw a house that looked like it had a building footprint of 3,000 square feet, if it had a second floor with the exact same massing as the first, that would be 6,000 square feet gross.
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chairman.
Yes, we're going to need a complete analysis for the neighborhood within 200 feet, beyond 200 feet, across the street, with the first floor, the second floor, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. All right, thank you.
I'd agree with the Vice Chairman on that. Mr. Dave?
Yeah. So let me ask you.
Defender, bring your microphone up.
What's the size of the bedroom number 6 that you have on the second floor?
Mr. Ween, do you want to recall the architect for that question?
Yeah, sure. No
Okay.
problem. Yeah, I can. All right, so Mr.
The
Javeri.
one that is extending out further in the back.
Bedroom number 6, you
Yeah,
said?
on the second floor, that's
It's 15 by 13.
15 by what?
13.
And what the one below on the first floor?
Below on the first floor,
That's a parent's bedroom.
right, it's the same, 13 by 15.
And including the bathroom and walk-in closet, what that square foot?
I don't have the square footage right now, but I can say that
What's the width there? What's the total width there multiplied by 15?
it's 15 by 19, including the bathroom and closet.
15 by 20, 15 by 20.
Yep.
Roughly. So that's give you about 600 square feet for the top bedroom and the bottom bedroom, correct?
Right.
Okay. If you have to satisfy the FAR 0.25, you should be around 3,929 square feet, little less than 4,000 square foot. With the 0.3 you are asking for is 4,700 square feet, you are asking about 775 square feet more than what is allowed. I think board is maybe ready to make a compromise if you can cut back on that, both the bedroom on the first floor and the second floor.
See, number of bedrooms, again, it's the amount of people they have. They have 3 children, they have parents living with them, and they have, of course, themselves, and we have 1 guest bedroom. If I were to chop off those 2 bedrooms, upstairs and downstairs, I mean,
You have 7 bedroom in the house. and
6 bedrooms, yes.
Yeah, the lot size does not allow. You have guest bedroom there on the first floor as well, correct?
Total of 6 bedrooms, right,
Including guest bedroom.
including guest bedroom, right.
Okay. And all the bedroom has the attached bathroom as well.
That is correct.
Yeah, so
Are you
Mr.
guys
Javeri,
willing to make
go ahead.
some compromise?
I was going to say perhaps, and this is something we can certainly look at, but I think what Mr. Dave is getting at might not be to eliminate bedrooms, but to figure out how to perhaps pinch those bedrooms or pinch some area of the house. Is that a correct? If the number of bedrooms is, not negotiable, so to speak,
That's fine.
perhaps pinching them.
You have a lot of walk-in closet and a bathroom. attached.
Understood.
See, I mean, again, I completely understand the walk-in closets are 5 by 5, more or less, right? So they are not that bigger size closets in one case. And bedrooms are also not really tremendously large. 13 by 15 is, again, not really too large of a bedroom. If we were to take out something from here, it could be something like his office that he has. It's on the first floor, and it is 2-story. So that space on the second floor, we already discounted, taken it out.
Maybe you can squeeze back.
It's about 100 square feet.
Maybe you can squeeze back the family room and the kitchen and the pantry. And same happens with your master bedroom, can be squeezed a little bit.
Right. It's in no way it's going to put us close to this 700-something square feet FAR,
No, I get it.
right?
I'm not looking for full 700 square feet. Cut back 300-400 square feet. Bring it more closer to what is allowed.
And Mr.
I
Javeri,
mean,
if that's something that, if you'd like to take a few minutes and we can, discuss that.
Well,
and
Mr.
then-
Ween, with that being said, so with Mr. Dave's point, I think we would need, so you're going to have to come back, so we need a deeper analysis from Mr. Flynn. So if Mr. Javeri would be willing to take a look with your client, to take a look, kind of go back to the drawing board, see where you'd be willing to reduce the size of the home, and then bring it back to the board.
That's fine, Mr. Chair. Just with respect to Mr. Flynn's, deeper analysis, I'm sure he has no problem doing that to the extent that information is available. To the extent that it's not, I think the only concern, I won't speak for him, but the only concern I would have is if it's not available, for example, on the tax records, how many bedrooms might be in a comparable house, then obviously we can't knock on doors.
I think what would suffice, given that you're coming for an FAR variance, is the size of comparable homes within 200 feet.
Sure.
And then what the FAR is. It's something that planners have planners on other residential applications have done before this board countless times, and that's what I think the board would like to see for this application.
That's fair.
Thank you. So before we can go to the secretary and see when we can reschedule this for, if you could just give just some thought as to how much time you think you would need as a team.
Can I confer with my team really
Yes,
quick?
yes.
Thank you. So if we could just take a couple minutes.
Sure. So we'll give you a 2-minute recess.
I got you.
This is the second.
spelled the same exact way he was weaned, so I just...
I'm W-I-N-E, like the drink.
Oh.
Yeah, literally. You can't... Yeah.
My kind of guy. There we go.
Fair enough. So look, I spoke to my team. We have no issue. The one major issue I would say is the project architect is going to be away from the end of November to the end of December. So if we could be on the November meeting, that would work because that's before he would go away, which I think is November 21st, if I read your calendar correctly. And that would mean any revised plans would have to be in obviously before November 11th, which is 10 days. I will say that, you know, what I'd like to do first is have Mr. Flynn do the analysis that you and the vice chair have requested. And based on that, we may either decide to make those revisions or not make those revisions, obviously, how that fleshes out. But if so, we'll certainly be ready to have those in by November 11th.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Madam Secretary.
Yeah, we could do November 21.
The Secretary is good with it. I'm good with it.
Okay.
Okay. So for anyone here and for anyone watching at home, this case will be carried to November 21st, 2023, with no new notice required.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you in about a month.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wine. All right. Next case on the agenda, please.
Case Z28-2023, Anoop Kadiwar at 14 Ashbrook Drive. Bulk variance is sought to construct a 467-square-foot sunroom addition to the existing single-family dwelling and construct a 1,029-square-foot new deck in the rear yard. The following standards have not been met. Max deck coverage permitted is 3%, proposed is 8%. Max building coverage permitted is 20%, proposed is 22.41%. Affected property is located in the RBB zone, designated as block number 412, lot 127 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Is the applicant here? Folks, if you could just please take a seat at the table.
Good evening, everybody.
Hold on. Is that mic on?
Okay.
Bring it in close.
Good evening, everybody.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And what is your full name?
My full name is Anoop Kadiwar, A-N-O-O-P, and last name is Kadiwar, K-A-D-I-W-A-R.
Okay, I also see someone standing next to you. Are you going to testify, ma'am, or no?
Yeah, she's my wife,
Is she going
Pooja.
to testify?
Yeah, both of us,
Okay,
yes.
If you would take the other microphone and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And what is your full name?
My full name is Pooja Kadiwar. That's P-U-J-A. Last name Kadiwar, K-A-D-I-W-A-R.
Okay, and I also see that you have another witness with you. That microphone may be. Okay. Are you going to testify? Okay, do you want me to swear him in too?
Yes, please.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And what is your full name? Joseph, I'm sorry? It's A-V.
Okay. All right. Sir, if you, or ma'am, if you could please tell us what you'd like to do and why you'd like to do it.
We would like to replace our existing deck with a sunroom and a deck. We are 8 members in the house. We have both the sets of parents. We want sunroom because, it's something, they can use during the winters. All 4 of them, they are 80 years plus. We are fortunate enough to have our daughters, stay with us. That's why we want a sunroom, replace our deck with, sunroom and a deck, bigger deck.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Kadiwar? Okay. Would you like for Mr. Avarello to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Avarello, if you could just present, just please first tell us what company you're with, and then also if you could just shed some light on some of the improvements that they're proposing.
I'm Joseph Irello, owner of Independent Renovations, LLC. I took this project on with the Cadawars over a year and a half ago. They've been building this set of plans, and with the architect back and forth, there's been quite a few changes. It's been downsized, it's been upsized. Primarily, though, it's been downsized. It was a lot bigger than it was, and we knew we weren't allowed those coverages. Based on the size of the family and the property size, we did come up with these numbers. We're not too far out from where we need to be, which with the amount of people in the house, we feel the space is necessary.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Avarello? So I'm going to ask a question because you said that you're not too far about where you should be. So your deck coverage is at 8%, required is at 3%. So you're more than doubled.
More than double.
You're more than doubled what's required. What you're proposing is more than double than what's allowed.
Okay.
I don't know where the board is on this one, but it's a fairly large size deck that you're proposing.
$20 by 28, I believe it is. I'm looking.
Mr. Ayotte?
Mr. Chairman, it's 1,029 square feet?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah.
Yep, 1,029, opposed to the addition, which is 467.
Is there any consideration to reducing the size of the deck?
I guess, we can go a little bit down, but, we have neighbors, who have pools, they have bigger decks, which covers almost the, whole property. On the, on the same side of the road.
And with the amount of space that we're using, there's still an ample amount of backyard. If there were younger children or if they wanted to put a pool in later, there's still a huge amount of grass area and land surrounding the property.
And again,
So 50 by 25, 50 foot by 25 foot altogether between deck and a sunroom.
yes,
And you guys say you have a family, big, large family you have that you need that size deck?
We are a family of 8 with a pet, being the 9th one. So it's like a full house. And as you have adults in the house, it's hard for them to sit outside current deck when it gets cold. They are old enough to not really go outside the house. They want to be within the vicinity. So this would help them be kind of in an open area, but not really cold. So that's why we want to build the sunroom, and we like the deck space that we have right now. So just trying to combine both.
What's the size of the lot and what's the size of the house now? Do we know?
$2,590 square feet.
That's
Coverage.
the square feet of the house now?
yes.
Coverage by building.
And what's the size of the lot?
The area of the lot is 11,558.
You need this size sunroom and this size deck both?
I'm sorry?
You need this size sunroom and this size deck both? I can understand you need a covered space for the parents kind of stuff for the sunroom.
We can go a little bit, down if you have to go on deck, but.
What are you proposing?
As far, What are we proposing as far as making it smaller?
Yes, I believe that's the member's question.
That's something that we'd have to look into and discuss with the architect and see where we can take off.
What I would propose is probably beyond the sunroom, deck is going further down. And you have the gazebo there probably?
It's just a deck area where there'll be a built-in fire pit. It's just a round space, maybe some chairs around it just to keep warm.
Maybe you can bring it back in the same line the sunroom is, cut back deck and the sunroom, probably same line on the back, and cut back that extends out 7 foot by 50 foot would bring it down substantially. 50 by 7 cut back. This is something that agreeable to you guys?
Is it something we're able to do? We can definitely we can go over it with the customer and the architect and see how much smaller, clearly once it's too small, with all the people, now we're filled up, we have chairs everywhere. That's just what we were trying to avoid, is just being cramped with having a family of 8.
This would be still a fairly large deck. You're just cutting back few percentage off. Instead of 8%, you might come back to 6% probably. That's a compromise probably. That I'm speaking for myself. I need to ask the other board members, whether they would accept that or not.
What's the board's opinion?
I have a question for the applicant. What's the size of the existing deck that's there?
Do you have that, Joe?
Yep. We don't have existing.
It's a small deck.
It's a small deck. I believe it's 15 by 17 or 15 by 20. I don't have those exact numbers. I have the set of plans in front of me for the project in discussion.
I think it's not 15 by 20. It's, I think, a little more than that. Currently what we have. But, we don't know exact size. Sorry.
All right, so Mr. Carter, we're going to give you, do you want to proceed or do you want to go back to the drawing board with your architect and your contractor?
If we can proceed, we would love to proceed.
You want to, so what I'm saying is you want to proceed with your application as is?
If we can, if you guys
Yes.
think the only way to proceed is by reducing something, we don't mind taking that
Ms.
into
Shah, can you-
consideration.
Well, I think what the chairman is indicating is that if you've heard from several people on the board as to what their thought process is and as to the size of this deck. So if you proceed tonight with your proposal, you kind of have a sense of where the board is leaning. The question is, do you want to take this opportunity to come back at a different date with a revised plan that maybe reduces it and compromises on the square footage and the percentages, or do you want to proceed? Those are your two options.
Okay. I think we'll come back with
Revised plan.
revised plan and then go from there.
All right, thank you. Madam Secretary.
And are we saying we should cut it in half, the overage, is what we were asking?
Just so you understand, Mr. Avarillo, that is one board member's opinion as to his size, but I think overall you get a sense that the board wants some reduction or compromise. It doesn't mean that if you reduce it to what Mr. DeVay is indicating potentially, that in and of itself is going to be acceptable to the entirety of the board. So I want you to think carefully as to how you'd like to modify these plans.
Okay. Perfect.
Madam Secretary.
We have November 28th available.
November 28th. Mr. Kadawar, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll
All right.
work for us.
What date would they have to submit if they're going to submit new plans by?
It would have to be 10 days before, so November 18th.
18th? Okay, that will work for us.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so
Thank
for
you.
anyone here present, anyone listening at home, this case will be carried till November 28th, 2023, with no further notice required. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
Next on the agenda, Madam Secretary.
We're going to go into a closed session to discuss a lawsuit on Quick Check Corporation, Z28-2022, and American Outdoor, LLC, Z15-2022.
Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Sadato. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The board will be in closed session.
If no one's here, do we have to go in the back? Go in the back. If no one's here, do we have to go in the back?
No, lights don't work. We got it here only. Shut the door. Shut the door.
The lights don't work?
The lights don't work in the back.
Oh, so then we're gonna have to stay here. Are we
didn't pay the
definitely
bill.
off to stay?
We're off?
Okay. All right, can we just shut the door, please?